not going to even pretend to know what it's like to be black in America. I mean, we had laws up until 4 decades, 5 decades ago saying that you weren't allowed to do certain things, drink from the same water fountain. To ignore that kind of stuff and the trauma that people carry on after generations of that, I just don't ignore it. I mean, I was a social worker, I was a teacher. I can't ignore these things. So I think that what ended up happening, and I think it's sad because I knew a lot of people who were Democrats, Black, Latino, Asian, Southeast Asian, who really were hurt that Harris didn't necessarily get it and saw how damaging the mainstream media narrative was to her getting it. I think she eventually kind of got it. And that's when she came out with that statement around, like, I'm going to protect black men's right to own crypto. But I think even with that, like, everybody just rolled their eyes. I got so many texts from black people being like, what is she doing? Like, what is going on? Like, this is not how you do it. So it's a really complex thing. Race in America is a complex thing. I do not ignore it. I personally think it's sort of disrespectful to ignore it, nor do I think it's the only thing that matters. I do believe in merit still. I think it's just a very complicated thing, and I try to respect people's experiences. I've had many people who I'm close with who don't look like me, whether different ethnicity, gender, race, and I try to just take them at their word. These are people who I trust, when they say just about everything else. And if they told me that their experience has been different than mine in some ways, I accept that. So how to necessarily, I don't want to say fix that, what you're talking about, how to deal with that issue. What I do is I try to raise up voices of people like Lorraine Marcel from Bitcoin Data, a program in Africa that teaches African women how to use Bitcoin